like to call this build the Phol gods because it's kind of like a Paladin build. Out of all of the builds, and trust me, there's many very powerful things, there's many broken things in this game, but this is very immersive and this is very fun, and out of everything that I've tried, it's the most powerful of all of the things that I've tried because it's using the most overpowered weapon in the game, and the most overpowered weapon in the game is the greatsword. Why is that? Well, the greatsword has hyper armor, and if you buff your character with some stuff that we're going to be buffing our character, then yeah, that's going to be kind of amazing. And you can just basically, as you can see right in here, you can just basically fight anything that you would want to fight in the difficulty that you would want to fight. Just trade hits with the enemy because of how powerful you really truly are. And so that's the gist of everything. You have a very heavy boink, and with this very heavy boink you're going to be trading blows with the enemy. Whenever you're trading blows with the enemy, you're also going to be healing yourself. Not only are you going to be healing yourself, but there's also other means for you to not only reduce the damage, but heal yourself whenever you need to, whenever there's the need to do such a thing. And because of the hyper armor, this is the weapon that I believe that deals the most damage out of all of the weapons. So it is very powerful, and I love it, and it has like the playstyle of a paladin, kind of like a tank that deals just an insane amount of damage. I will try to have a link in the video description for the items, the itemization that I'm using right now. There's a couple of things that you might want to change, but mainly the build is going to be coming from the weapon. The interesting thing about the weapon is that we're not specifically going to be using any kind of glyph. As a matter of fact, any greatsword is going to work just fine, because you will notice that the actual glyphs that we're using for this build, they are neutral glyphs. The one cool thing, there's one glyph that I like and I don't like that much, that we're going to be building towards that as well, and that is only for the rage weapons. Now the rage weapons have the Glyph Berserk, which is a build that we are going to be making. The one thing that I do not like about Berserk right now is that it is somewhat bugged at the moment. It's not working properly as the hyper armor that the greatsword has. The thing is that sometimes the game, I believe this is like my own experience, I've noticed that whenever they do crowd control on you, which you're warded against and you're not supposed to be suffering any kind of crowd control, your character doesn't have like the animation when you're being like CC'd or you're knocked down or you're staggered or any kind of crowd control, but you're also not going to attack yet. Like, your character is just going to be standing there doing nothing, because I believe that there's something impeding and causing an interaction in here. We're going to be building towards that. It's just that I believe that this is somewhat bugged. Now, that being said, that does not happen with the greatswords, and the greatswords are amazing. The one cool thing about this build is that you have one free slot to be able to allocate outside from the basic stuff that we're going to need. And the basic stuff that we're going to be needing is the Glyph, the chromatic shield. This is going to give you 60% protection. At least on the rank 2. I believe that the rank 3 is going to give you 80% protection, so you're basically invulnerable if you have been exploring and you have been doing your side quest. I believe that you get this by doing the good deeds and getting the rewards from the NPC that gives you the rewards. Same thing happens for the limbic mending. But I'll try to have linked in the video description as many of these things as I can possibly do. Just have in mind that a lot of them require for you to get like the reputation with the specific faction that it is going to give you these glyphs. Have that in mind. But yes, the chromatic shield, this is basically pairing it up with the hyper armor that the weapon natively already has. So you're giving armor on top of your hyper armor, so you're basically a truck and a tank at the same time. The limbic mending, I'd say that this is something that you could interchange for something else as well, but there had been quite some times, especially on the highest difficulty of the game, where it is not nearly enough and you do have to back up a little bit to be able to heal from that. And this thing heals like an insane amount. You don't have an idea of how much does it heals you. Finally, I have the Limbic Slivers right in here. This is the elite version. It deals an insane amount of damage, and I like to have this as a range option because there's many a time in this game where everything that you can fight melee range and AoE, because of the huge AoE damage potential that this weapon has, it's not going to be funny for the enemies. However, there's many a time when you're fighting things that are away from you, not only away from you, but like on a different level of verticality from a different building, you want to get rid of them as well. This is what's going to allow you to accomplish such a thing. Now that is basically the build for the weapon on itself. As for the relics, we have the Bloodseeker. This, I can't stress how powerful this is. If you combine the Bloodseeker with the Bloodlust, I believe, yeah, with the Bloodlust and with the Bathe in Blood. So you're basically healing all of the place all the time. With the huge amount of damage that you're dealing with the Greatsword of Glyph, you're also just going to be healing because like that. This is lifesteal, 20% lifesteal, and because of the, like I mentioned, the huge amount of damage that you deal, that's going to be a whole bunch of healing that you're going to have. Not only mentioning one thing that I should like to mention about the Greatsword is that it's easier for you to manage those timings for healing whenever you deal damage to the enemy. The downside of the rest of the weapons is that to be able to complete the combo and heal yourself with the perfect timings for the bumper is that if the enemy interrupts you, then that's going to interrupt your healing as well. But this weapon never gets interrupted, so yeah, you're always having like the base healing from that, you're having the base healing from the Bloodlust, and then you have the healing from the Bloodseeker, and then we have the healing for the Brooch of Rage, Bathe in Blood. Like I mentioned, I'm going to try to do my best to have all of these items linked in the description so that you can get them for yourself. And then finally we have the Hut of the Griffin, the link in the description that I'm going to leave for you right in here. This is, my opinion, the best talisman in the entirety of the game. It's basically a second life. Let's suppose that someone manages to deal enough damage to you, which it's not going to happen very often with this build. This build is just so nasty and powerful and broken. You have been seeing the gameplay that I've been showing you. It's just easy mode regardless of the difficulty that you are playing on. I had lots of fun with this build and I had to stop using it because it was just too powerful, so I just wanted to try different weapons because of how broken this was. But regardless of that, that does not mean that you shouldn't be using the best talisman in the entirety of the game. So basically what this does, it's like a second life that it has a 6 minutes cooldown. So whenever you feel that you're receiving too much damage and they're going to kill you, this is going to give you your health 100% back, your stamina, and your limbic energy. If that's not enough, then the limbic energy is going to allow you to be able to regain your healing back that you get from the actual spell for the healing that you have right in here, and then also to buff up with your shield as well. And basically that's the gist of the builds. Like, there's not I don't use the drones. If you're wondering about the drones usage and the drones that I like to use with this build, I don't really use the drones, not even the distracting ones. Like, you can just get in there into the fray of battle and slash and hack and slash everything in front of you because of how powerful this combination really truly is. So no, I do not use drones, and basically that's the gist of everything. Whenever you start the battle, you're going to buff yourself with your defense, and then you're going to be dealing lots and lots and lots of damage. My advice is that you always finish the final combo, because yes, they're going to deal damage to you while you're in your hyper armor and they're going to cancel the healing, but if you finish like the final combo, that's going to heal you enough so that once you manage to deal the combo with the lifesteal that you have and the final input of the combo, that's going to heal you back to 100% rinse and repeat, provided that you have the defense active, because there's some enemies that actually deal a huge and tremendous amounts of damage. But overall, you're going to be invincible. If you feel that the enemy is getting the best of you, then just back the hell away from that, heal yourself with your actual healing spell, and go back into the fray. Anyways, if you like the content, like and it was super appreciated. And also you today, you're a gorgeous and beautiful person. You're indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. Have a beautiful day, goodbye.